Where do I live at Timata on the Coromandel Peninsula. Yes, very wild sort of area. We don't use poison. So we have a wonderful population of wild animals. Well, let's say all forms of life, I think, are important. And the thing what I notice with animals is that they are so beautiful when they're born, like the calves, everything. They're just perfect. And as they get old, they're still beautiful, whereas we youths are all sort of, I don't know. Whereas the animals always have such beautiful coats and they're so alert, I think. They're just so alert. I was not very good at sport, like I played tennis and always batted the ball into the next door school. And I played cricket, but it hurt the hands. I played hockey, I liked hockey. But so, you know, painting was what I could do best. And I always had the art teachers always said, you could be one of my best students one day, and 3 art, because I went to 3 different secondary schools. They all said that. So in the end I thought, oh, well, perhaps that's the direction I should go in. Yes. So I suppose you could say that was what I found that came most easily to me. Like, and if I don't pick up a paintbrush, I get to feel, I get rather grumpy, yes. Grumpy. And it's colour, I just find that colour is so magic, like when I painted on a white canvas, all these colours I use in this show would look quite different on a white canvas than they do on the darker one. It's just amazing. I think it's something magic that happens. It is magic. It's like the Factor X that on a dark canvas, well, you see, I only use about 4 colours in white. That's all I use to make all these colours. But I think that's the way to go. If you have tons and tons of colours, you never. But you can make nearly everything with just 4 colours. You've got a tube of white as well.
What is that red called?
Which, this red here?
Yeah.
Well, I mix that. I have a big Liquitex soft ground. You mix it with water. If you work with acrylics, you'd use it. And I make a ground, and it's an absolutely terribly orangey red, but then I mix another little jar of Liquitex that's a strange blue. It's not a warm blue, it's rather, but I mix that with this very bright sort of a fireman's red, and that it comes down to this sort of sienna-y colour. And I never know how much I mix because I never measure. I just use teaspoons and things like that. So I'm never quite sure what will come out. But the blackish lines are the same thing with a bit more blue in. So I only use those 2 things to make my ground. The sort of fireman's red and this sort of deepish sort of blue, which isn't it's not that beautiful blue that the stained glass windows in France are made from at all. It's not a very nice blue, and I never use it as a colour. But mixed with this orangey red, it makes these. And they're all slightly different because, you see, that one's quite dark. Because I put more of that blue in it, so it became darker, yes. So, and I don't ever want to have a measurement. It's always got to have a little bit of chance. I think chance is very important. And that can just be a wiggle or a stroke, like these little strokes up here. And, you know, that allows something to come in. Something that you hadn't expected comes in. Like, I didn't know I was going to have a pinewood fence there, but it just came from a line. And then we went, and I thought, oh God, that's good. We'll keep going with that. And then these little like musical lines, which are little, or like the wind. I do like there always to be movement in the work. Always my disappointment in life is to go to a show and it looks good from afar and you walk up and you suddenly see the paint's utterly dead. Whereas I like to walk up and see, wow, this is going here and that's going there. You know, and it's all waving and going like you know, seagrass under the sea or something like that. And that's how I think it should be. I think that's terribly important. Otherwise, how can you live with a piece of dead something or other? No, you can't. I drew this tiny picture of a horse pushing, and I just put a line of crayon like this, and then the horse was like that, with a small, you know, pushing against every part of the frame. And then I thought, I'll paint this, and I did. And when I painted it, I thought, my God, she actually looks like this old horse that I used to ride when I lived on a Hipra up on 90 Mile Beach. A neighbour lent us this very old, and she was small like that, but she was wonderful. She had a back like an armchair, and you know, just rode her down to the beach to get pippies and things, and rode her back. She was fantastic. But I never thought of that when I painted it. It was more the horse. That's why I called her the strong mare, because she was strong in reality when I suddenly remembered her. But in my little drawing, she was strong too. She pushed against all sides of the little crayon, you know, rectangle. And you know, that's how they used to be. If you went to a farm as a child, and I loved doing that, you'd find these old horses that never got ill, and they never had covers, and they just went on. The old farm horse that was used for hunting and things, and you know, to hunt pigs and things, you know, you'd take that with sacks on its back, like sacks that went over, and they had, you know, something to put things in on either side. And they'd go on forever, and they'd go up hills and down hills, and they were just, it was was wonderful in the good old days when things didn't have to be pedigree.
No.
Yes, pedigree and whatnot. Yes.